On 1st January in 1985, at about 8:30 a.m., the National Resistance Army's mobile brigade, commanded by Commander Salim Saleh, overran the Uganda School of Infantry at Galamba in Mubende District. The NRA captured 6 light machine guns, 2 medium machine guns, RPG and mortar shells, and about 562 rifles. After a skirmish with government troops from Mubende Barracks, at 5 p.m., the rebels started walking to their home base in Bulemezi County in central Uganda. They had to pass through Chikwaya sub-county, now in Kakumiro District. Chikwaya was one of the 2 places where then rebel leader Yoweri Museveni's Uganda Patriotic Movement, or UPM, had performed well in the 1980 general elections. On 8 February 1981, 2 days after the first attack on Galamba Barracks, Museveni had arrived in Chikwaya Trading Center with a handful of men and a convoy of 6 cars that included a Tata lorry and a Land Rover. It was a Sunday afternoon with people socializing and drinking Kwetu, a local brew. He addressed his supporters and then drove off. 4 years later, in January 1985, the rebels returned. The rebel group that attacked Galamba Barracks in 1985 came down this road on 9th January and camped here at River Anguse. They were met by another group that was coming from Royal Triangle to help them carry the guns they had liberated. They spent the night here and in the wee hours of the morning headed towards Birembo. Kaloli Kamanyire, now 80 years old, was a guide to the rebels, showing them the safest routes to use and bribing government soldiers to free some rebels they had captured. He also fed the rebels at River Anguse, and just as he did in the 1970s, he still owns most of Chikwaya Trading Center.
Nalinawo piki bazitanga Andrew nakwatanga piki netandika okuvuga nga tuvuga na kiro nnyo mundu abasajja baffe bambi waliwo omusajja Gordon Rwamukaaga yafiira kigolobye eyo tukagamba waliwo ne ba Sergeant Mugumya kwegamba bateekanga emundu emabega eno nga nze njambadde ebikooti nga mbalaga amakubo okugenda okutaayiza awo waliwo omugga omunene okugenda Makabaale okutaayizawo ne Pachwa.
The government troops, the Uganda National Liberation Army, led by Lieutenant Colonel John Ogole, had been outflanking the rebels all the way from Galamba.
Our signal unit, monitored the enemy, communicating that they had supported us, emphasizing that they were sure that Museveni was in that group and that it was important and this was the opportunity they had to deal with it and annihilate it. So there was some sort of panic. The intention was to find ways of reaching and protecting the CHC group, because we had left it more vulnerable. Although it was doing diversionary tactics around there, it was not well armed.
During the wee hours of 10th January, the rebels left River Anguse and camped at Birembo Primary School, 3 kilometers away. At 6 a.m., they began foraging for food among the peasants. 64-year-old Erimegio Sechanzi, who was carrying a machete and a sack, stumbled upon the rebel leader lying on a mattress where the war memorial now stands, as he was rushing to his garden to harvest food. He still has the map that he drew from Museveni that morning.
Generator wali ni mundu yeri nga yebase wansi yali asoma lina empapula nga nene asoma okutaba nalindi agamba wange yimirira jangu wange njagala okuwa nti ebintu byolina birekawo najjayo obupapula butonotono nga buliko maapu natandika okumbuuza nti kati njagala mbuulire okuva wano njagala mbuulire ekkubo eriyinza okulagawa enkooko.
Bali batudde ku mulandira gw'omutuba babiri n'esikooti abalala nga bafumba ate nga mbaze kusaba oli embambi obuyambi kusenga wange abawodde ebijanjaalo abawodde muwogo bannange ekintu kizibu era yamusawo n'ebijanjaalo byalafumba mu nsaka naye abimanyi n'omubuuza kati omukulu oyo n'agamba enjala tuli bituwa ebijanjaalo bino tusobole okukola
While the NRA soldiers were camped in Birembo, gathering and cooking food. The government soldiers took up position on Chibojana Hill, right here where I'm standing, and at 3 p.m. they began firing on the rebels' positions. The UNLA, reinforced by North Korean officers, was equipped with anti-aircraft guns, Katyusha rocket launchers, and 120mm mortars. The bombs fell for about 40 minutes, and then the infantry advanced on Birembo.
He was psychologically tormented. One, he was worried of us. Two, he was worried of himself and above all, the force. Dr. Besige was attending to some casualties there, and he was boiling some water, helped by some of the other doctors again. Somebody from the enemy side just worked out the calculations of the grid references and hit in the very saucepan. And this was just there. I remember I saw him, he was just handling either a syringe or something like that. We just saw a bombshell through the trap, and we all went into this area.
The peasants still remember the 5-hour-long battle, and Sechanzi has kept the bullets and bomb shrapnel as mementos.
Nekikubawa nenkwata ekikutiya kyange n'ekiso nenzirika okugenda okutuuka ku muti awo nga bakakuba bibiri. Ekirala bwe kyajja nga kiyita waggulu awo ng'owulya ebyuma byonna ye Museveni ng'afukamidde mu muti n'emmundu ye ng'ali bw'ati nange nengwawa ng'amuli ng'olwo muno abasirikale ba Museveni beesaaza nga beekulula ng'emisota wansi nga tebakyatambula. Abaali bafumbye bonna emmere yonna nga bagiibwe mu kyoto
n'abantu babataka nga bafudde. Waliko Kanyike yafa, waliko George, ne batana omusajja yali akayingira mu yeekera bali omweta bitaatule ne gundi Sebastian oli mulwana wange wali ekikombo kyamukuba nkimusula mu sepiki enene.
Birembo is historically important to the NRA because this is the place where President Museveni was almost killed. There used to be a mutuba tree in this area, and on 10th January 1985, Mr. Museveni was sitting in this spot with his bodyguards on one of the buttress roots of that tree. The other rebels were a distance away preparing a meal. And then at 4 p.m., a UNLA shell hit this place and killed the bodyguard. He lies in this tomb.
Kati president waffe naduka nawera mu mugundi mutuba gwaliko ekituli ky'amaanyi n'abeera wamu escort wa mmanyi teeka bamuziika wano gye bamuziika kati abayeekera bwe bajja bobote bajja ne bamujjayo ne bamuziikulayo ne bamujjayo okumujja mu ttaka olwamujja mu ttaka ne bamukonko omuliro.
At 7 p.m. it started raining heavily, and an hour later the guns fell silent. Under the cover of darkness, the NRA began withdrawing.
Those in the top command, like General Sali and the others, had worked out the withdrawal of the president or the CHC. For him, the moment it got dark, they sent advance forces to start moving to clear his way.
The rebels withdrew through Igayaza, Chisija, Chijegere, Chamjundo, and entered the cattle corridor at Nkoko. They then proceeded to Chiboga before crossing into Bulemezi. The UNLA was in hot pursuit, but the rest is history. President Museveni's 6-day trek, starting tomorrow, will be the second time he's walking to Birembo since he captured power in 1986. He first walked there 20 years ago in 1999. Gillian Nantume, NTV.